To insert new values, for insertion part, we have two functions. One is insertion at specific index, insertion at specific position. And one is insertion at end. We will be having an idea about this section first of all. If you want to insert your value at the specific position. So wait, I'll write this part in the comment section. Insertion at specific position. Fine. To insert your data at a specific position, we have a predefined function in Python that is insert. We can use insert function. Insert. After that, insert accepts two parameters. One is the index. Second one is the value. Right? For example, this is my list. 10, 45, 34, 12 and 10. I want to insert 500 between this 10 and 45. So as now 45 is present at first index, but after inserting a value between this 10 and 45, 45 is going to shift at second position. So now, for example, so I'll write insert for insertion at specific position. So variable name is my detail dot insert. Now write down the index number. I want to perform my insertion at first index and I want to insert the value as 500. Let's print after insertion. Fine. And then variable name. Let's run this. Let's clear the terminal and then run the file. Now we can see this was the updation part and now here it is. After insertion 100, then 500 has been inserted at the first position and 45 has been shifted to the second index number. Right? So this was about insertion at specific position. Now insertion at end. If you want to insert your value at the end, so we have two functions. One is using append function, or either you can use extend function. We have these two functions available, append and extend. For example, I would like to comment this section. Let's comment this part. I'm going to shift this part at the end because we have discussed about it. So I want to perform insertion at end. First, let's see about append. For example, I want to insert a value as Python. So I have done my detail dot append. Append, as its name suggests, add the value at the end. And I want to insert Python. Python. Let's clear the terminal and run the file. I guess here's some error. Okay, the error is for commenting part, I need to use 3 quotes, but I have used 4. Rectified. So now run this file again. Yeah. After appending, we need to print the data. Print my data. Let's run. So now we can see Python has been inserted at the end of the list. Similarly, this was the string value, so append can work on string values. But if I have entered a value as 50, that is an integer based value. So let's see, does append works with integer also? Let's run the file. Yeah, append works with both values, either integer or either string based value. Now let's check for extend also. So my detail dot extend, and inside extend I have entered 67. Then let's print my detail. Fine. Let's run the part. See, it has returned you an error. Int object is not iterable. And it has returned you error in mydetail.extend67. It simply means that extend function does not work with integer based values, right? But if I have entered Python here, you will observe a different kind of output here. Python has been inserted at the end of the list, but every character has assigned a different index number. And if I look about here Python, inside append, let's run the file again. You will be having a better clarity. See, for append, it's using the complete word at the same index. But for extend, it's going to place every character on different positions. So append and extend has two major differences. Append works with integer or string based value, but it's going to insert your data at a single position. Hold data at a specific index. But whenever you're working with extend function, extend does not work with integer based values or float based values. And moreover, it's going to insert your data at the end of the list, but every character is going to assign a different index number. I hope everyone is clear. So using these ways, you can insert your data at a specific position, or if you want to insert it in the last position, you can use append and extend function. Now let's move towards the deletion part. For the deletion part, let's comment out this section. Let's place it here. Deletion. For deletion, we have some sort of function. One is pop, one is remove, right? And another one is del keyword. Let's work with pop first of all. If you want to delete your values based on the index number, how I'm saying based on index number, here 10, 45, 34, 12 and 10. This is present at 0th index, 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. If you want to delete these values based on the index number, means you don't know the values, but you want to delete the values present at specific index, then you can use pop function. For example, I want to delete 45, or I want to delete the value present at first index. How I'm going to write? My detail dot pop, then you need to write the index number as an argument here, and then you can print my detail, right? Let's run this part. So now you can see 45 has been deleted, right? And for example, let's write here my detail dot pop, and I have not specified anything. I've left the parentheses empty, my detail. Does it going to return you an error? No, because pop works with argument or without argument. If you do not specify anything in these parentheses, it's going to delete the last value. And if you want to delete the specific value, you can specify this index number. So pop works with, wait, I'll write. Pop based on index number, right? And if you, for example, your data has lot of index number, that is huge in range, but you are looking at the values and you want, like you don't know the index number of 34, so you want to delete the value directly. So we can use remove function based on value, right? Let's run this. My detail dot remove. Directly, you can specify value as an argument. Print my detail. Let's run this. Now you can see 34 has been deleted. So pop based on index and remove based on value. Pop and value are the functions. But if you don't want to return anything, so you can directly use del. You can give del my detail. What exactly you want to delete, you need to specify in terms of index number. For example, you want to delete 12. So you can specify you want to delete the value present at third index and print my detail. Right? Let's run this. Let's clear the terminal and let's run this. So now we can see, okay, because as Python works on interpreter, so 12 after deleting the values, 12 has been now presented first position. So here I need to specify first. Fine. Let's again run this. Now you can see only 10 has left inside your list, 12 has been deleted. For example, you want to delete your entire list, or you just simply want to clear the content inside your list. You don't want to delete it, you just want to clear the content. We have a clear function, so you can apply my detail dot clear. Print my detail. My detail is a variable name. So let's run this. So clear is going to erase the entire content. So here you can see it's going to return you empty. Fine. But if you want to delete the entire list itself, means you don't want to anymore like your my detail should exist. You don't want my detail to be existed. So you want to delete that. So what you can do, you can use del and then the name of the variable my detail. And if you are going to print my detail now, it's going to hit you an error because Python works on interpreter. Once my detail has been deleted, so there's no my detail. So my detail is not there. So this is how you can insert your data, update your data, or delete your data. We were discussing all these methods of list based on the static list. Means you have created your list and then you are applying. You need to perform all these functions at the runtime. On the runtime part, I want to store the content of a list. I want to take user input from user and then I want to store the content inside the list. Then I want to perform all these operations. For example, the student can have the detail as name, roll number, and marks. So let's take a variable as name. Let's take user input, that is input. Enter your name. Roll number equal to int input. Enter your roll number. Now marks equal to, marks can be in terms of float. So float input. Enter your marks. Right? Now I want to store all these values inside a list. For that, first of all, I need to create a list. Right? So let's take a variable as L, or either you can choose anything. Now I have declared variable as list because I have assigned this square brackets. So now L is of nature list, so it can hold these values at a time. So now to insert the values, what we need to do? We can update the values, or either we can insert the values at specific index that you want. One simpler way can be, you can simply use append function here because now the list is empty and you don't know the index number you want to store your data in. So we can directly use append and append name. Name is this variable name. Right? Now L dot append roll number, L dot append marks, and now print N. Let's run the file. First of all, it's saying me to enter my name. So let's suppose I have entered Prinu. Roll number is 101 and marks are 89.45. So now you can see the data has been inside a list. So this way you can work with static values, or either you want to store your content inside the list at the runtime, you can do that as well. I hope it may be helpful.